South African Union of Jewish Students, says firm action will be taken against the Wits SRC President following his Adolf Hitler Facebook post on Saturday. The union has branded Ncebo Dlamini a racist and says it'll ensure he no longer maintains his presidency. Dlamini is in studio with us this morning. Welcome, Ncebo. Thanks very much for coming in to talk to us. Let's get some clarity on this first of all. What do you say when you mean you love Hitler, you admire Hitler? What for?
Well, Joanne, it's unfortunate that people decide to interpret my words in their own way. And they omit the whole post, they pick, they extract what suits them for their own selfish ends. Well, the issue is that I compared Nazi Germany and Israel, which the space allowed me to do so. As an academic myself, I think I am allowed to scrutinize and to debate issues. It was a matter of comparing the two, Nazi Germany and Israel today.
What was it, though, that you said you admired about Adolf Hitler?
Well, in as much as we all have been told that Hitler stood for no good, but the sad part is that in as much as he was bad, there is a good side of him, in that he managed to uplift the spirit of the German people after it had went down in 1938. He managed to uplift the economy and infrastructure and to organize the German people to rally behind him. He rose from nowhere against all odds to become a leader, to become a figure. Then it is for us then to say, was he a good leader or a bad leader? But at the end, he was a leader.
Fair enough. I understand that, you're seeing the two sides of the individual here, but he used nationalism and he used particular techniques to foster that nationalism in order to grow his country. And some of those techniques included fear, they included marginalization of the Jews and other groups like communists, like homosexuals, like mixed German children known as the Rhineland bastards who were half black and half German. He used brainwashing and discrimination. Is that the way one wants to go about building organizational skills or indeed building a country?
To tell you the truth, Joanne, currently we are seeing organizations, we are seeing movements, we are seeing countries as a whole collapsing because leaders are failing to sell their idea to their people. Hitler managed to sell whether he's evil to the people, and they believed it and they supported him. What is happening today, we see people wanting to lead themselves because there are no influential leaders anymore. For me, I am saying I admire his organizational abilities in that he managed to influence a nation. Let us not forget that Hitler was not a German by birth. For him to come from another country to lead a powerful nation like Germany, it says a lot about the man.
You make an interesting statement here, but there are others perhaps closer home that you might want to look at and say, for example, you must if you admire Hitler's organization skills, you must give credit to someone like Hendrik Verwoerd, the architect of apartheid, for his organizational skills. He managed successfully to use a minority idea and ideology to dominate an entire majority of people using oppression. You might want to have a look not so far away at the Rwandan Tutsi government, who managed to wipe out hundreds of thousands of people in a very short space of time, also by their fantastic, although wicked, organizational skills. Surely you do, in a similar vein, admire those people.
Well, Joanne, you have said it. Let me tell you, there is nothing wrong. There are people who are admiring Cecil Rhodes today. When black students in UCT were saying Cecil Rhodes must fall, there were white people who were defending it, bringing the good side of him, saying let's ignore the bad side of him. We didn't take them to Human Rights Commission. Now, I am saying there are white people who are defending Napoleon Bonaparte even today. There are people who are defending Leopold today. There are people who are defending George Bush, Tony Blair today, when they all have blood in their hands. What is wrong, therefore, for me to say, here is Adolf Hitler, bad as he was. Let us look at the good side. Was he that bad that there's nothing good about him? Then how did he manage to wage a world war? To even bring Germany to what it was. We are not saying that the killing 6 million of Jewish people is justified. It is not justifiable. But I am saying his organizational skills, that's what I admire from him. And what puzzles me is that people make the Jewish Holocaust to be worse than the black Holocaust, the black apartheid. They are making the Jewish Holocaust to be worse than apartheid itself. Black people were killed. Black people were slaughtered. By your DPS, they sucked our country dry. Try with your Sanlam, with your Oppenheimers. But no one is talking about that because we are running away from engaging issues. When we bring issues, they bring anti-Semitism, they bring racism. A black man can't be racist.
But are you stating that as a fact?
Yes, black men can't be racist.
How is that possible? And I want to...
Because racism, Joanne, it's power. Racism is power. Racism is influence. I don't have power.
So you're saying that any of our leaders who may be racist or may express racist sentiments is not capable of racism, even though they hold power.
You see, when you talk about race, you are talking about inferior and superiority. As a black man today sitting next to you, a black child, I am inferior. I am still subjected to poverty, inequality, and unemployment. In as much as we are studying, we're not guaranteed of jobs. Now, a black man can't be racist because we don't have power and we don't have influence. Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist. Let us engage. If I can show you my inboxes, the insult from the Jewish kids, you can be shocked.
I just want to move on to something that you said. You wrote that every white person has an element of Adolf Hitler, and that what element of Adolf Hitler would that be?
Hate and racism. So power mongers.
Are you saying
colonizers?
Are you saying that whites like George Bezos, for example, who participated in the liberation struggle, someone like that has an element of Adolf Hitler in him?
Well, you see, I am generalizing.
Yes, but is that not a dangerous thing? You're an academic,
yes,
to be fair.
I am.
And you know that generalizations are the absolute anathema of academia.
Yes.
And you have made a blanket statement that all whites have an element of Adolf Hitler in them.
There is an element of Adolf Hitler in all white people. And I still maintain that. And this is my argument. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu, all white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
Well, I mean, judging from what you've said, many people may feel the same way about you after this interview. But I'm interested in this last statement you made, and this is our last one before I let you go, Mncebo. The same way I love Robert Mugabe, it has nothing to do with white people. Is it permissible for a black leader to oppress his people and get away with it because he's the same color as they are?
No.
So you don't think Robert Mugabe perhaps has an element of Adolf Hitler in him?
Well,
or any other leader of color who has oppressed his people over the centuries?
Let me tell you something. I love Robert Mugabe. I admire Robert Mugabe because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate Robert Mugabe. I love Robert Mugabe for what he did for Zimbabwe. Let me tell you, South Africa is still going to go that way of Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe's economy is actually going up and our economy is going down because we have leaders who are scared of white people.
Thanks very much for coming in to talk to us today. Mncebo Dlamini is, of course, the SRC President at Wits University.